And here is this week's food for thought. Last week I had taken a week off as we were traveling, and we traveled to visit family, and we traveled across the state, and traveling with myself and two kids is an experience in of itself. And in the midst of that experience, we were traveling in the midst of one of the busiest travel times of the year. We were traveling by car, and we were traveling over 4.5 hours to visit family. Now, in the midst of travel, I've often discovered that the first thing that a person can lose is patience. We can become impatient with the traffic. We can become impatient with the weather conditions. We can even become impatient with the people we are traveling with. You see, impatience is an important part as we continue to look at our study of what love is about. Be patient in all things. You see, patience, as defined by the dictionary, is this: able to accept or tolerate delays, able to accept or tolerate problems or suffering without becoming annoyed or anxious. So I ask you today, how is your patience? Are you remaining patient in your situation? Are you remaining patient in your circumstances? Are you remaining patient with one another? You see, when we love someone, we are called to remain patient with them. Paul made this clear to the church in Corinth in his first letter in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse number 4. In the midst of that whole love section that is often read at weddings, but I also tell you it's something that we can look at daily in our lives. And listen to what Paul says here. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. Love is defined by our patience. And sometimes situations and sometimes people can test our patience. But our job is this. Our job is when we find ourselves losing our patience, to stop and pray. To pray that God would allow us to love what we're faced with. To love that person. To love the opportunity that we have in the midst of what is going on, to be able to stop and to show that love to one another. Because oftentimes when we become impatient, we forget to show love. So I encourage you this day to stop, to pause. And if you're finding yourself being impatient, ask for God to get you strength, to get through the situation, so that you're able to accept, so that you're able to tolerate, and you're able to deal with those delays and those problems and those sufferings without being annoyed and or anxious. Because when we are annoyed or anxious, we forget to cast our worries and our fears on who says he wants to take them away from us. If you're finding yourself impatient, turn to God and ask for strength. If you're finding yourself annoyed or anxious, turn to God, cast your anxiety onto him, and let him take care of you this day. Go forward showing patience to one another. Go forward living a life of love. Until next time.